And we're right back into the thick of it here, Van Silly, as we get ready to kick off our second and final series of the day between LG and XSET. We misspoke there coming out of the break. We got so distracted. We were so winded, and we were looking for water. I was out of water. I was looking for all these things.
I keep breathing in my mic.
Yeah, you kept breathing. The mic kept changing in volume. You kept shouting at the audience. You were muting yourself in Discord. There was just so much happening that we failed to see that once. We do apologize, chat, but it is IMT who is facing off against Envy. That will be tomorrow. And it is LG who's been knocked down into the lower bracket. That said, I could see LG beating either of those two teams too, like I was saying before, 100 Thieves or Sentinels, even though both qualify, because they have beaten both of those teams. Beating Sentinels in a best-of-5 in the NSG Winter Championships, and obviously beating 100 Thieves initially to send them into the lower bracket to begin with. That would be a great matchup should we get up. But first, they're going to have to face off against XSET. But before we spend too much time talking about that, I want to give a quick shout out to the Nerd Street Gamers Summer Championships. If you missed out on the Winter Championships, which is where we saw LG pick up the big dub over Sentinels and kick off their 2021 with a bang, head on over to nerdstreetgamers.com/Valorant. Summer Champs are coming up this August, and you can qualify by registering at that link. Again, it's nerdstgamers.com/Valorant. Start your road to the Summer Champs by registering there. Qualifiers will be starting in March, and they fill up very quickly, so make sure you get your spot in the Summer Champs. Definitely something you're going to want to get, and we saw some cool teams play in that as well, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about VCT, and we're talking about this second close qualifier. The winner of this game and the game currently live on the mainstream makes it into Masters. Huge game, a lot on the line for these two teams.
No, definitely. And at this point, whoever loses, unfortunately, they don't have to go through the gauntlet in the open qualifiers number 3, but at least you still want to make it because you don't want to go through that hassle. You want to go straight into the Masters happening in March, and this is such an important matchup. Yes, it was a heartbreaking loss for LG on that previous series, but I think they'll still continue with that momentum and that loss to not show any type of weaker signs versus XSET. So XSET still has a very tough battle here coming up ahead against LG. I'm going to put it that way because I think that LG and Immortals are definitely one of those teams, two of those teams rather, that really are at the top of their game right now in 2021 and NA Valorant. So XSET, they actually had a terrible loss actually versus Envy yesterday. Envy is on a whole different level right now. So we hope that we see the exit that we know that's been on the climb as well at the end of 2020.
Well, we can take a look at that roster. When you mention XSET, we'll take a look at LG's roster, which you guys should be more than familiar with. We just watched them for the last 3 hours. Proto, Stellar, Thief, Moose, your boy Dre. Still the same roster, no changes made between series. No one has to worry there. Pure, Thwifo, Aaron, BCJ, and We Did, the members of XSET, who are looking to grab that spot in the Masters. And honestly, it would be a bit of surprise if they pulled it off. The team has definitely turned things around here in 2021 compared to how things may have gone for them in the past. Looking more specifically at their run during the Complexity and Nerd Street Gamers Invitational, which was a strong performance for them where they came out on top in the finals over top of BBG. But since then, they've traded blows, actually, with XSET. XSET picked up a win over them during the Winter Championships, opening things up, but then it ended up being a victory for LG over XSET in the same tournament later on in the bracket play that kind of disrupted that run.
And that's it. When you're looking at the history of XSET versus Luminosity in 2020, we're thinking about the Winners' Championship. We're thinking about the NSG Complexity, right, where they were actually getting those victories and where it matters the most, getting into the upper brackets of the Winners' Championship. That's where XSET finally got their first loss versus LG. And that's a loss that you unfortunately do not want to take just because you were on a hot streak before getting into that matchup against that roster. So we'll see what's going to happen now. We're going to get into the map picks and bans, to figure out what we're going to have in terms of the series. Sorry, we're working from home now, so we got the little dog here that wants to get some camera time. But Bind, Ascent, and Split going to be the maps being picked here. So you're kind of leaving Split into the into this roster, into this mix, of course, because for LG, you still want to get rid of Haven at this point. And Icebox, I mean, as you see how good LG could be right now and also getting a comeback in the victory versus the Immortals on that first series, the next set definitely want to avoid that map too.
Yeah, I can't imagine them wanting to play them on Icebox after how things have gone in the past. No surprise to see the Haven ban come through from LG. It's a map they just really don't want to play. So we'll see that ban come through as well. So the maps will be Bind, Ascent, and Split. I kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit weird for LG to go into playing Bind after just playing Bind against a completely different team. There may be a bit of an adjustment period, and it's possible that that could result in XSET finding a few rounds early, kind of catching LG off guard as they readjust and reassess the situation. Ascent, though, is a map that it's no surprise to see LG pick. It's a map they've been really proficient on in general, so really should expect to see solid performance there. And then Split, the third and final map, if we were to get to it, is also kind of a weird map. LG has had mixed results on that map. So I'm curious to see what we end up getting out of this series. If we were to get to that third map, which it seems like we would based on the matchup history, the last time these two teams played, it did go all three maps. XSET, though, put a hurtin' on LG, 13-4 on that first map. And then on Bind, LG came out on top, but they had Icebox in the middle. They didn't have Ascent. So that's where this series is going to get decided. It's going to get decided on Ascent. But to kick things off, we are going to Bind. And after LG just fell short on Bind, you kind of wonder if they're just sick of playing the map. Part of me wonders, did this get picked on purpose? Like, to kind of, like, just rub it in? Like, stick their noses in it? Like, hey, remember this map? You guys just lost on it. We're going to play it again.
Well, like I said, if you're trying to get rid of Haven and you got to leave some maps in there, there's no doubt that Bind, is going to be in that list. And like you said, I think it's a good move actually for XSET to choose Bind first, because if it has to go down to a third map, well, you have a team that's more comfortable in a map like Split. But when you're looking at Bind for the agent composition, so far in the past history of XSET playing this map, they haven't changed much in terms of their agent composition. So having a Cypher, having a Jet, having a Sova, Omen, and Raze, and then we'll see for LG side, is Stellar going to continue to pick his Sage? If now XSET has been watching that matchup previously, knows how Stellar plays it, or is it going to be Stellar saying, hey, we had also good success on this map not having a Sage, but they are going to go with the tried and true, what they've practiced with for this specific tournament. So we'll see how XSET could actually battle back into this one. Like I said, no changes on their side.
We talked about in the last series the impact Stellar could have as Sage. It wasn't really felt as much in that series against Immortals. I wonder if it'll be a problem here, though, for XSET. You do see the Jet pick for Pure. That's not something a lot of teams bring to Bind. A lot of teams favoring different duelists in that position. We still see it from time to time, but not always. Yeah. And it's usually teams who are very proficient at Bind that dodge that selection.
I just think in general, like for a team like XSET, they're just really comfortable of having Jet pretty much on every map if they can. Most specifically because Pure is one of those players that could be very aggressive on this map or on any map as a Jet and really bring that type of in-your-face type of Jet playstyle. So there's a possibility, yes, he might be opting on the attacker side, but do expect here with the Blaze Storm or anything else, he's going to go with the dashes right in your face with shotguns, with frenzies, with the rifles, and now we'll see if it's going to be with the pistol moving forward, as it's going to be LG Thief pushing down first towards the fountain to try to get some information. So that recon dart that came out early, it didn't ping anybody up. They thought it was clear, but XSET played it all the way back towards spawn and then walked forward right after that. So a great start for XSET, unfortunately a bad one for LG.
XSET backing off of the A site and heading towards B. Again, you've got that first piece taken out. Look at the wall that's down as well on the B site. You can see it's already utilized, blocking off Hookah. That's why they were going for that long play, because they don't have to worry about the backstab that could come through. There's still two players, though, over on this A site. Now, they're going to call out that cam position. You can see them now in third person flying onto the site. There's a cyber cage down that they're using to get past dark cover that's in position as well. The lack of a wall means they have to just go for this dry plant, and you might see a peek come through here. There's the spray. It's actually BCJ in response. Now the retake is underway, and the Frenzies are firing back and forth. Your boy Dre from backside default, still alive, swings back around towards the default position in front of APC. It's now a 1v1 between him and the Rays, and Aaron flies in with El Clasico. XSET picks up the pistol round win. But it was a scary one, and I feel like that has been every pistol round that we have personally seen. It's just like, comes down to a 1v1 every single time.
You definitely see the idea behind it, right? So your boy Drake gets that kill, he's like, oh crap, I'm out of bullets, he's forced to reload. Then suddenly you hear, thwop, thwop, the bunny hop coming down. You know the right click is coming. He's trying to back out to bring the battle on a mid-range where the right click classic might not do as much damage, whereas the spray down for the Frenzy would take the upper hand, but they both missed their initial shots, and finally Aaron capitalizes on that one. And you see from the wall too, they, like you said, because they don't have a Sage Wall or anything on the attacker side for XSET, they went for a Cyber Cage towards the triple and a Dark Cover towards the APC and triple. Now off a fake plant, you force your opponent to come out through the smokes, and you had the crossfire setup from APC and from bench. So it turned out pretty well with the Frenzies. The randomness of that, it comes into their into the favor of XSET in the end. And speaking about XSET, they come out on top 2 on this pinch on mid sands, and it's going to be this 2-man advantage now for XSET to try to move up towards B.
Camera over on A, but the action over on B. It's all down to Moose. He's inside hookah. He's got targets building up on the site. Does he get there to stop this spike plant, or do they turn around and check it? They do. Now they can take port and get out of here if they really want to, but Weeded's feeling thirsty right now, and you know he wants the ace. BCJ says, nope, sorry, bud. The round win is more important than your bragging rights. It's a 2-0 start. XSET not upset by the stinger buy that came in round 2, something we've seen a whole lot of, but not going to be the case today. Still, though, some stingers in the fold for LG. A Sheriff, yeah, I'm kind of curious what they're going to decide to do here. Stellar's still got one. You've got Sheriffs as well. They got to buy down to about 1,300-ish. And that's what you can see currently coming in from LG.
That's right, I'll put you at 2,900, so you'll be fine for sure to buy rifles into the next round. But what I do like about the buy with the shares here, and how you can see the the playstyle change a little bit for LG, is that they could be a little bit more aggressive. Why? Because XSET really only has a paranoia to work as for flash. So you could try to go for those body peaks and try to go for the mid-range early headshot with the shares and try to escape from it. But unfortunately, it doesn't pay off, as when we're trying to lean out towards the sands, there's a boombot coming. So that was a great way to counter that. And that's where XSET pretty much reps the set and cleans up the B site, and it's going to be 3-0. But expect that going later on in this type of battle between these two teams, that it's going to be a lot more body peaks going on and a lot more aggression, probably for trades or a buddy system to go for double swings for these teams, due to the fact that you don't have that many flashes to counter those pushes.
XSET right now taking a big chomp out of LG in these first 3 rounds. Speaking of big chomps, did you know that XSET has a cereal bowl? XSET cereal bowl merch. I am not even kidding. Part of me thinks it's weird and part of me thinks it's kind of awesome. I'm not sure how to feel about that. But it's a thing and I'm impressed. Here's the ult coming in from Moose, trying to cut him apart with that Hunter's Fury. A Proto peeks off the back of that, does great damage, switches to the SMG, somehow finds a third from inside. Cubby swaps back to his rifle, goes for a reload now that the threat has dissipated. Heal coming in from their Sage as well. There's only one left standing. It's BCJ. Legendary gamer across multiple scenes, but what is one to do in a 1v5? Not much. Goes for the wide swing and gets dropped by your boy Dre.
And with the amount of rounds that you want here, you're good to go for another rifle round, sorry. Aaron is 5 out of 7 in terms of orbs. He could try to farm things out here towards his long B side, probably starting with the boombot to gain that control first. But I wouldn't be surprised later on if you want to try to get that orb and a kill to pop up a showstopper on this take on B side. I'm saying B side because it seems to be leaning towards that way, because you already have a shock dart, or sorry, a recon dart that's going to come out from BCJ up towards that cubby of the long B side. And you also have the paranoia. The only flash that you have is working towards that B side. So you really want to take that control first, and you're also forcing Moose back from that information and even the cloudburst that was thrown by Pure at the beginning.
There's the Owl that'll help create some space. It'll push them back, and they can ride that like a wave up long B. Now, there is a dart sent out, but it's not delivered, and it only spots one target, so there's no expectation or anticipation for that third player. They should anticipate Sova being present as well, given the Owl drone that went in first. Recon dart right into the back of sight. There's no one there. There was a cam present from A Proto, but it was taken care of. Nice dart coming out from Thwyfo's camera as well. That'll allow him up into a better position, and it's just a dry battle. That's well played. The hat goes out as well. Not only does it give away the positions, but now he's got that tiny head. Gonna be so hard to get hit with. You've got BCJ coming through from showers. They're storming the site fast, hot, and heavy. You've got Thwyfo right inside that smoke. Is a Proto, and it's a quick and easy kill for Thwyfo. Things are piling up here for XSET, but they've still got a fighting chance thanks to the work that was done by Stellar. But it'll still fall onto one. It's Moose, who's in that hero position again, and in the last map couldn't quite capitalize on it, unlike he did in the series against 100 Thieves.
Who else than Moose once again on a clutch attempt with that camera now giving his position away. The tap onto the spike, the big paranoia, the double swing as he gets hit by it, and that is going to be 4-1 in favor of XSET. And the reason why I said the beautiful play was the utility being used by Thwyfo at that point. He hid inside that smoke, used his camera, got that ping on to your boy Dre inside U-Haul. And as your boy Dre falls back to take the dart out from his chest, this allows him to creep up and get an off angle on that kill. And that kill was so important because right away, the neural theft was thrown out. The in position was given away from the last two players, knowing that Showers was pretty much open, right? Because where Thief was playing it, he was playing towards the bench side. So you could really try to storm in and move up towards short A to really weaken out the hold on that Shower side. So a great execution being set by XSET just off the back of individualistic mechanical skills utilized here by Thwyfo as that Cypher.
All right, man, silly. If XSET wins, I think we both buy a cereal bowl. Can we make that rule? And tomorrow we have to eat cereal. Oh wait, we're
only
not
if I
on
could use
camera
almond
tomorrow. Darn. Yeah, well, see, that's the same for me. Hey, Proto, currently in U-Haul, is not cleared out. The ult gets sent in a different direction. That allows Aaron to get the opener immediately traded out upon before the trade comes back through yet again. BCJ locking down U-Hauls, making sure that threats will not be imminent from that location. And again, LG has been boiled down to just two players. You've got XSET using BCJ's drone to get the intel. Now they know where both these players are at, so Thwyfo's in position and catches Moose on the cross. Stellar likely to just run away and try to save. 1v4 has the ult available, so they'll probably see that in use in a later round.
No more
but it will be XSET going up 5-1. Again, we talked about the adjustment period and the potential burnout factor on buying for LG. It could be playing out here in the early part of this first half.
Yeah. And that strat is just based off signature type of Aaron play, in my opinion. When I was watching him play towards the Echo 8 days, back in the beta days with the Crossfire team, he was one of those players that as soon as he has a showstopper, he's going to use it right away. It's not really to try to get a kill of a trade off. It's just, I want to clear the site. I want to get a kill.
Right.
And if not, everybody's going to be afraid and fall back and give us a free site here. And that's exactly what happened at that point. Everybody's falling back. Yes, he gets picked off, but he still gets a kill in the process. And forcing back the defense towards the back APC, well, there you go. You saw how Thwyfo had so much control inside the defender tube to be able to get a kill off the teamwork of the L drone coming out towards from BCJ towards that spawn side. So it's very well done. Expect that every single time you have a showstopper right away, and you have to be ready for LG.
A Proto on the site with his trusty Sheriff. You know, just like I do, that A Proto is deadly with that Sheriff. Peeks through, quick shot, but was not anticipating everyone waiting on the other side staring at it. You've still got Stellar with the rifle up in heaven. There's an opportunity for these guys to actually get out of here and go for the port out. You've got everyone positioned over towards that side. The recon dart is taken care of pretty quickly. They're still tapping the spike here, so they want to stick to this A site, which is interesting given what's waiting for them. And I feel like that's a bit of a misplay here. Moose is able to drop the planter, and we did. Now you can see their decision-making process, trying to get away. Pure actually kills Stellar on the back pedal. So he's moonwalking his way to that portal, and in the process, guns down Stellar, which flattens out what is left remaining here for LG. It's just Moose. Can he make it through? A beast with the Sheriff, but still armorless in a 1v2, and they've got great positioning. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, even a wrap around towards elbow into spawn. Just unfortunate that the person that actually died out of the two remaining players for LG was the one with the rifle. And as Moose was already committed, rotating back towards spawn site, didn't have a chance to pick up any weapons on that initial kill that he got at the APC. So having only a Sheriff on a 2 versus 1, no information going back, and you know exactly where your opponent is coming from, speaking about XSET, because you didn't hear a teleporter. And with that not pushing in towards short A, you know he's coming in towards spawn, and you're able to time that perfectly on your end to make it now 6-1 in favor of the attacker side of XSET. Now the money finally comes back here, but it's still going to be a very tough first half, it seems, for LG. Again, when they had so much success here for Stellar, and there he goes. Speaking about Stellar, he finally takes care of Aaron. So that's similar scenario of the Sage versus the Raze. He's able to take that upper hand. But we sprayed through the smoke from Long B. Your boy Dre is able to take down 2 of his own. And that allows things to make it a little bit easier here for LG. They have room to breathe now, at least for this round, and at least a sigh of relief if they could actually get these last 2 kills with a flawless round.
XSET starting to peel. They took a bit of early damage here from LG, and there is really not a scenario where XSET should win this round.
Yeah.
50 seconds left. Sure, they've got time, but look at the positioning alone. You've got this aggressive play from Raze, who pushed through showers and has the backstab if they try to come up short, and holding an angle that you wouldn't typically clear. So it should be 1 for them, and then you'll see the swing come through for the Cypher. Not even necessary. Thief says, it's all good, dude. Don't worry about it. You stay in your position. I'll do my job as the duelist. LG starting to wake up a little bit. They pick up a round win that they desperately needed, but you can see a pattern developing in this first half. 3 rounds to 1 for LG. But here's Thief in this position, and it's just a 1-2 punch, catching them completely off guard. Actually could have let that first target by and then gone ahead and gone for a double swing instead of kind of just going 1 and hoping that the next one won't be looking. But regardless, it works out for Thief, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, it's his first 2 kills of the game too, right? So I think at that point, you just want to make sure that you warm up a little bit as well, saying like, okay, I have the confidence. I just want to see that shot. I just want to tap it right away, aim at the head, hit their head directly. And now they expect this type of wall in the boost. It's not the first time that we see Stellar do this, where he got punished by it too. So unfortunate. With a good round that they had in the beginning of the round, it turns out to be not so great at the beginning of this one, and BCJ locks up right away with the Hunter's Fury to drop Moose. So that's a weak and a B site. On top of that, with 2 more dying, look at the aggression, the execution from XSET. It's not, hey, let's try to get a plant and play back and watch the angles. They're pushing all the way for the control. 3 players, 4 players already towards spawn on a pulse plant. That is beautiful. It's just showing how they want to bring in-your-face Valorant, and really nailing it down actually to solidify this lead that they have, and just to show them that fear onto LG that they don't want to be messed with into this best out of 3, and they want to get this berth into the Masters.
Something that we've talked about with LG on this map too is that at times they feel incredibly scrappy with their play style. So XSET feels much more disciplined, which again, we talked about the agent pool and how Jet is kind of something you don't see a whole lot of on the map. But it's working out nicely here for XSET with the selection that they've gone through with. Even though Pure, again, is not having an all-star performance, top of the scoreboard, lighting things up, the composition in general is just clicking way better for XSET than it is currently for LG. So what does LG do at this point? They need to make some kind of adjustment. Thief currently at the bottom of the scoreboard, 2-7 as well. Your boy Dre really lit things up in that last map in the last series. Came alive on Bind. It wasn't a heroic enough performance to find the big dub they needed. But he's sitting at the top of the charts here as well. A Proto trying to get a little bit more aggressive in showers. Tripwire goes down along with a Cyber Cage. They're spending a lot of ammunition in that area, but there's no one present currently. And he's already dropped both his Cyber Cages. Your boy Dre almost tossed out an errant Paranoia, which would have been a mistake. As you can see right now, XSET is kind of hanging back quite a bit, playing a little bit more passively than we've seen from other teams on this map more recently.
No, exactly. I think the reason why is because you have your boy Dre having to play you, right? The only flash that they have for this composition is really to try to hold off any type of aggression that comes from short A, which means you can't really double up towards showers on the control, like, for example, Nature had with JC Stani, where that Paranoia was used towards showers where it could work because they have somebody else like a Breach that could fault line and flash towards short A. So you're playing a much more passive A side for LG, at least for now, which shows a little bit now that you don't gain any type of information from map control. You're trying to be very reactionary and try to play for the retakes with the utility and the kits that Sova has, but it has been paying off. You need players now that if you're playing passive, the anchors like this man, A Proto, has to step up, and he does so with 2 kills. Your boy Dre with 2 of his own on the reaction of them, Shadow stepping into the site, and Thwyfo, though, meanwhile, does have control of you. He's the last man standing, only has 50 HP, the spike is down. Finally, we have a 3rd point on the board now for LG.
Important to note as well, looking at that last series that these two teams played, going back to the Nerd Street Gamers Winter Championship, it was in a decider in the group stage. XSET sent them down to the lower bracket. LG got revenge and eliminated them from contention and then went on to win the tournament, no less. But the attacking side was the strong side for both teams in that series, excuse me. LG won 9 rounds on the attacking side of Bind, and XSET proceeded to win 7 in that second half before finally dropping 2 rounds at the tail end, combined with 2 rounds inside that chunk of 7 that gave LG the win 13-10. The major difference, though, was there wasn't a Sage in play. Something we talked about, how that was going to impact LG's play. Something that should strengthen their defense, but it will also impact the attack potentially. It obviously gives you a little bit more oomph on that A-side take when you can drop that wall, something we saw them do pretty consistently in that series against Immortals. But right now, it doesn't seem to be helping them as much here on the defense, as XSET is in control of this scoreboard pretty heavily currently.
Yeah, and even if you look at the previous iterations of LG on this map, when they actually had Thief playing as Phoenix, he's one of those players as Phoenix that actually put up big numbers on this very map too, right? When we talked about the type of aggression, the type of trades, and the run it backs that he has running into the site and still getting kills for these retakes, that was a good component to their structure that allowed for them to get pretty decent results right now on Bind. But the results are not consistent, which is why you're trying different things, which is why I understand if you're trying different things and it's not working out, it's not too bad. You still have a best out of 3. You still have 2 maps potentially to come back into this game, but it's not over yet, right? It's a 4-on-4 situation. They're close to making it a 7-4. They have 3 ults to work with for this retake onto this A side, and even the Hunter's Fury is going to slow things down, even more. And that gives enough time for the rotation to come out for the LG team back towards the defender spawn. And they're going to run out with these Showstopper very soon, as soon as we have A Proto clearing out the site. He gets the first kill onto Weeded at the front of Towels, at the front of Pocket, a big trade. And maybe this time now, okay, he gets pinged out. You have the res. Let's see if they can hold it back. No, the res doesn't work out because it's on the flank.
Player standing.
That was a brutal shot coming out. That helps make things a little bit easier here. The shock darts come through. There's the tap on the spike. Boost tries to force it to halfway. But yet again, BCJ looking strong here as he grabs the round and pulls it in favor of XSET. BCJ's top of the scoreboard, by the way, 12-5, 12-6 for Thwyfo. The duelists are the ones struggling right now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that Thief, even with that Showstopper, he missed that second satchel to try to propulse him forward by the APC. So I think that's showing with the changes that LG is trying to do, that maybe there's not that much level of a comfort for somebody like Thief to play a Raze where he's more comfortable playing Phoenix. And potentially, if you want to look into the future to keep this type of composition, you might want to try to switch Dre back to his regular Raze, yes, exactly, and maybe try Thief as a smoker instead. Or you go back to where, you know, 2 duelists is good enough to just fight it out here for LG, but there is some work to be done here for LG's defensive side. After all, it looks very good though versus 100 Thieves, but so far against teams that they usually play against in this tier 2 category, before we had the conversation of the tier 1 into the VCTs, it's tournaments that has a lot of XSETs, it's tournaments that have a lot of Immortals, and they've had face-to-face before. This is the 4th time that these 2 teams meet against each other, so they kind of know that playstyle too, right? So it's not necessarily only on Thieves' performance, it's also knowing the playstyle of LG, because they've been up so many times for XSET.
This is brutal yet again here for LG. Stellar is inside Hookah, and his teammate gets flushed out as the nade lands and splits them apart. There's the ult coming in, and yeah, Stellar's dead. Yep. Nothing that can be done. Stellar has one choice, and that's running across openly through Hookah. And with players positioned potentially in spawn, the fear of going for that wide of a swing could result in your demise either way. The hopes is that tucking into the corner, they'll think you already moved, and that's not going to be the case today. It's down to the last player, your boy Dre. He's done everything he could at times throughout Bind here and in the series previously against Immortals, but it's not quite enough. XSET is on fire right now after our first half. We're going to throw things to a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if LG can put out those flames. Stay tuned.
Show me what you got. Back up, back up, back up, back up.
And we are back after an incredible first half from XSET. LG has to find a way to reset and recharge in this second half. It's got to start with a pistol round win, or this map could be all but over. As they switch to the attacking side, they're going to rely heavily on the Owl Drone and the Boombot to lead them in, get that intel, pull Weedit out of position, and he escapes all the way back to spawn as they start to make their way up short.
Yeah, I feel like, I was going to say, they're going to fake this and teleport because there's still 2 guys lurking towards Long B. So they're going to meet up around here, but they're still kind of late with the Omen still running back. So your boy Drake goes all the way towards Long. They wall up towards Elbow, which is good. I was going to say, you kind of needed some smokes going on, and they already used one of them. But at least that wall is good for Elbow. It should be good for a plant too. And now it's going to be an all-out brawl for a retake. You have two players that are low for LG. You have the attempt for XSET to come back here with the Frenzies and Ghosts, and you're already pushing through the cages. But Stellar on the top, inside the top rather, and on top is going to be Thief, but it's still going to be Stellar with the hat trick, making it a 4 versus 1. Last one that was trying to push towards Elbow, well, surprise, it's a wall. So he literally runs into a wall, and he tries to fall back here towards the spawn site, and that's where the crossfire is going to be even better now with 4 players alive and a much-needed pistol, and they sold that fake perfectly. It's LG with the pistol win.
Big time win too. Important to recognize the emphasis and the importance of that pistol round win. Help wake them up, find some of that confidence. How does XSET respond? It actually looks like they're going to fall back on the safety of what they've gathered up. There's not going to be that second round stinger buy that has become ubiquitous with the patch that we are currently playing on. So we will see a safer approach, much more disciplined, one might say, from XSET. Now, it doesn't really work out so well for them early as we see the aggressive plays coming out here, but they do bring it down to 3. Zwifo is on a lurk from over on the A site, and it seems unlikely that he's going to net anything in this scenario. He's playing off the cam, looking for potentially targets that could be coming through, but the rest of the team from LG is grouping up and heading in towards the B site. The spike will be planted momentarily. You've got the cam going down as well. There's tripwires down on short, so that could be part of the reason why we're not seeing that rotate yet. Yeah, there you go. You can see the getting caught by the tripwire. That's why that ends up being the case. Tries to leap over it just in case he can catch him off guard, but it's just a little too high for him to get that verticality. Cyphers can't jump.
Yeah, they tried to go for that pinch towards Sands, something that's very common, actually, something that also Envy does in terms of these second round ecos where you're just trying to rush down, which is why you didn't see that many classics or whatnot going into that second round, so they could, or sorry, any force buys of stingers onto that second round, so they could actually afford with the rifles right away as early as you can. Because now you're in rifle situation versus the short range, mid range of the stingers. You have a chance to actually bring this into a round on your favor, playing more passively, the distance into your favor, the cover into your favor too, where potentially LG, after that bonus that they have, might still just be on a mix buy. So looking at the overall scoreline, you're sitting in a much more comfortable position having to go full classics on that previous round. So now LG showing a little bit of a presence towards this showers, towards the hookah site to start, while the lurkers are happening towards showers, and they're going to split into the A side. You do have here for Thwifo a camera up towards this A site and trap towards short.
There's the Aladrone to go in first. Again, we've talked about this before. They're going to use that as the opening piece to try to get in. Now they spot one backside. Weeded surviving for a while. Weeded's found 2 from that position and might even get another. 1 bullet left. Tries to go for the one tap. Dirt nap onto his target. Weeded still in this spot. He has been a thorn in their side.
I have the spike.
But he's finally taken care of. LG disappointed with their approach and their struggles at eliminating Weeded from that position. But they've gotten the spike down. It's a 3-on-2 post plant right now. Numbers in favor of XSET.
Could have definitely been, if they were able to take down Weeded right away, maybe like a 4-on-3 or something like that right away as they're trying to get the plant, right? And especially when they have a lower weaponry, then it was a good chance here for LG to really take that round away from them, but unfortunately it's not going to be the case. Yes, they do some econ damage, and also they get a very important spike plant. So from that important spike plant, that economy could still be good enough for them after all to go for a rifle round into the next.
This was a big round from Weeded. Somehow Weeded in this position doesn't get taken out, dodges a shock dart, and almost had an opportunity for a 4th there as well. Great shots coming out, great control on the Phantom, and there's that 3rd and final kill as well as Steve goes around the corner expecting and anticipating a freebie. So it's 10-5 right now. XSET hits that double-digit mark. The full buy coming in from both teams with one exception. SMG's on the raises as both players a little bit light on the cash. We did check in the skylight, currently looking for the dart. It won't come through as it's actually over on B this time around, giving away a position of one player on the site.
Nowhere to run. Take flight.
You will not kill my allies. Satchel out.
Spike planted.
Well, I thought I lost my co-caster here, and we've had some issues on the technical side. Do apologize for the silence. It looks like we've got to take over on the B site. Thief in position, back site, waiting for the dash to come through. That does end up working out for the first player in. It's Pure, though, getting dropped inside the tube. XSET. They get round number 11. And they'll be able to defuse that spike. Vansili, are you back? Did we lose you? I thought you took over and accidentally muted your mic again. And I didn't want to step on your mic. I was kind of like, all right, I'll just give him some space, give him some time. And then it just
you Gucci. It's that natural pause that we want, right? We want to build that suspense into like a mid-round, late round. So I kind of just left it for you. Just kidding.
Well,
I had to step out for a sec. Yeah, so right now we're looking at it. It is going to be 11-5 here for XSET. So now, like I said, the amount of rounds that you're able to bring forward here with the rifles, going with the classics for that second round, you're looking good for 2 rounds in a row, but it still has these back and forth battles right now on that previous round, which now shows and results into a very peculiar buy for both of these teams, where Thief is going to try to aggress forward here in the corner of Hookah. Does have that stinger, but it's a 3-man stack right now for XSET into the site. So reading perfectly where the attack was coming here for LG. Also the Blade Storm to come out from Pure. Like I said, when these Blade Storms comes out for this man, expect it to be something very aggressive in the end. He's looking for close range onto the Octagon, or for the surprise into the window based off that Owl Drone. So look at that control now. He's going to try to walk in, get the off angle, and try to get this pick.
This could be big, but it's also risky as well. You've got a potential paranoia right on the other side. What ends up happening here? It all comes down to this initial peek. Actually, it looks like you're going to see some smokes come out from Omen first. There's the smoke being sent forwards. The thing is, how does he decide to handle this? If he goes for the right click and gets that first kill, sure, but then he has to jump and dash out if he can, and it's going to be difficult to get over that hurdle. So there you go, the exit currently coming through. The spike was actually being planted over on the A site in the meantime, as they've got control of that site as well, but here comes the port out onto the site, and Pure just gets sniped out of the sky by the rocket from Thief. So much for the Blade Storm. XSET not able to stop the plant, but quick kills coming out from BCJ make it a little bit more manageable for the last remaining player. It's an Omen who's already up from long. It's a 1-for-1. One player remains, and it's your boy Dre. No surprise there, as that player has consistently been in a strong position here on Bind for LG.
I actually like it in the end there for LG's execution towards that B site. So at first, when you go and get the control towards Hookah, you throw the smoke towards the A site first. Then when you have contact with the 2 players towards Hookah, everybody from XSET saying, oh crap, it was actually a fake towards the A site, let's try to move back towards B. And as they try to fall back, you still have the attempt from Blytheful to pull out the camera, because he was still trying to get information towards short A as he heard a couple of footsteps. But he gets caught out of it, out of the rotation, they get the kill, and they rotate back through the teleporter into Hookah, because Hookah was then taken control by Thief and by your boy Dre. So that was very well done. But speaking of very well done, it's just Aaron somehow made his way towards the back lines to kill 2. Thankfully, a Proto is able to get 2 of his own, pop up the ult, and now discovers where the defenders are here, the remaining 3, to allow then your boy Dre to get that first pick onto Pure, an open site, and eventually everybody rotating back, and by everybody, it's just a spike carrier being Stellar that was still lurking out towards that B side initially. So now off this 3-on-2, they'll get a plant, but they don't know where Aaron's at.
You can see your boy Dre is holding that position, though, watching short. Aaron, not really the threat I feel like he needs to concern himself with currently, as the closer target is actually going to be in spawn. That's BCJ. Now, the Owl Drone will give that away. So they'll take care of that Owl Drone, and we might see the swing here from BCJ in just a moment towards the fence. Aaron now finally coming up from short. You can see the doubt starting to play out here for your boy Dre as he starts to check towards spawn. It's really well timed from Aaron, and they're actually bringing it together. Aaron's got 4 on the round. It's down to the last player here for LG. It's going to be a Proto, but it's not enough. BCJ in there in time. Do they have enough clock to get the defuse? It's going to be close, but they should have it, as XSET with 2 seconds left on the clock secure round number 12, and some aggressive nodding coming in from BCJ as if to say, yeah, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah, so he doesn't shoot the rocket, which is actually pretty good, because as they don't hear it come out, that's how he was able to get that sneaky kill onto Moose. And on top of that, yes, we knew where he was at short A when I said that, when I said that they have no idea for XSET where he could actually be. For LG, sorry, to know where Aaron could be, just because it's been a while since he had those kills. He could have rotated back towards the spawn side. That's why he was even crouching and holding for as long as he can towards the short A, really making them guess that he's never really going to rotate back from the short A side. And look at that. He gets 2 backstab kills as soon as we see the Owl Drone come out, and then the rotation from BCJ also coming out towards spawn. So very well done for XSET on that retake on a 3 versus 2. It's map point right now for XSET, as well as LG still once again, unfortunately, not looking as strong as they want to be on a map like Bind.
Where is everyone? Cage triggered.
Thwifo gets aggressive in the showers. You've got BCJ now firing long electrical pulses towards LG, who is just getting bullied in the round. Thwifo with a jumping classic, and it's not really a surprise that it's your boy Dre who's the only one left, but there is not a fighting chance here for LG. XSET come out swinging on map number 1 and look absolutely fantastic. Stellar, one might even say, no pun intended, as XSET really put the hurt on LG. Again, the last time these two teams played on the map, it was actually LG who picked up the win 13-10. Your boy Dre at least gets a kill at the end there, but it's commiserations for LG as they will go down 1-0 to XSET, picking up that first map in the series.
Would have been crazy if he actually somehow got that 2K with how aggressive he was with that Stingray. Yeah, overall, just in one word, domination there for XSET on that first map. LG still not finding their common ground. They showed some hope with the victory they had over 100 Thieves, but right after that, right after these teams had a chance to watch how LG currently plays that map, they were able to abuse the sites very well by wasting utility very early from Stellar and then capitalizing on attacking later on.
Well, we are going to go ahead and throw things to a very quick break. When we come back, we'll be jumping into map number 2. It's Ascent, much more comfortable territory for Luminosity, but they are down 1-0, and they're going to have to fire back to force us to that third map, which is Split, and that too is not a map that typically plays in LG's favor. We'll return in just a bit from a short break. Stay tuned.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.